Tommy, first off, Travis Boak, any reason why he wasn't out at training today?
Yeah, he's just managing a couple of little niggles, but absolutely no doubt for the weekend.
Cool. And Sammy Gray picked up a bit of a corky on the weekend. Is he all right? Or?
Yeah, similar stuff, just managing a few injuries. You get into this stage of the year and you just got to do what you got to do during the week to make sure you're right for Saturday.
Is it Travis Boak's...
Funny buggers out here.
Is it Travis Boak's back that he's...
Couldn't tell you with Trav. It's always something. It's a hip or a knee or a back. He's played 250 games now. He's got a few things going on, but like I said, he'll be right.
Cool. And Dan Houston trained, so he's pretty good to go.
He had the pink hat on, so that just means no contact. So obviously after a head knock, you take all precautions. He'll go through. Do the concussion test on Friday arvo, give him every possible opportunity, and we're pretty confident he'll be good as well. So there should be no changes through injury.
Will we expect a change through form then, perhaps?
I think given that there's been a couple of poor performances in a row, the coaches will be looking to areas that we might be able to improve that. So, yeah, I'll leave that up to Kenny and his guys, but wouldn't be surprised if there is something.
I guess the big one is your co-captain, Ollie Wines. How's he? Did he get some touch with his finger today or his thumb today? Where's he at the moment?
Yeah, I'm not sure how much you guys saw, but he was still on restricted duties. He's just running laps and getting a little bit of touch in. He was pretty eager to play this week, but I think the doc said he's more chance of looking towards next week, so he definitely won't be out there on Saturday night.
So definitely ruled out of...
This week.
Yeah. Okay, beautiful.
Has the captaincy, Tommy, just for you, has it been what you've expected in 2019? How have you found the role?
Yeah, pretty well. I think I was lucky at the start. We won the first two games and, you're the best captain in the AFL. And then I've faced some challenges. Ollie and myself obviously haven't been out there at various times and we've had mixed form, and obviously the win-loss created a fair few questions and they weren't always easy to answer. So it's probably what I expected, and it has been tough, but I didn't think it'd be anything else. And it's been a great opportunity to learn, and the support from Kenny and Boki and other captains of the club, prior to me, has been awesome.
Has it been tougher as well because Ollie, he's probably missed more than you? I think he's played 9 games this year. Has it been tougher to sort of wear that burden a bit more? Has that changed at all?
No, not really. I think we've been able to split the duties between where we are and at that particular point. So when Ollie's injured, he spends a lot more time in the connection space and getting around the rehab boys, and I can push a few issues and duties to him, whereas when I'm playing I'll obviously do all the match day stuff and sort of lead from a game sense. So yeah, we've been able to share it pretty well.
So what have you been doing in the last few weeks then, Tom, to try and get the team the results around?
It's been really important to stay positive and stay connected as a group. There's a lot of outside noise and that can create fractures, but we're in a really good position where we believe that what we're doing, and we've been drilling down on the basics that, those fundamentals that helped us play good footy at the start of the year and at various patches throughout the year, and focusing on those and making sure our training standards are elite so that we don't have, there's nothing we can fall back on as an excuse.
So have you gone away from those fundamentals, or have you noted that? Or?
I think there's a few stats that would indicate we're not quite playing the footy that we would like to be playing, so you'd have to say yes. It's hard always to drill down on exactly what, but given that we're not getting the results, you'd say that there are things that we aren't doing, whether it's for the whole game or for a patch of the game. So if we can be more consistent for a longer period, we'll get to where we want to be.
One of the shining lights from last weekend was Patrick Ryder in twos. Is he a chance to play this weekend?
Yeah, I think Paddy will be right in the mix. We obviously know how important he is to our group. We brought him over from Essendon. He's a huge talent, athletically and skill-wise. So it'd be great to have Paddy back in the team and working in tandem with Scotty.
He's going to get his chance, obviously, through his own form, but because the Giants have those 3 talls in attack, he might have to move Dougal Howard back to defence. Yeah,
that'll be something that the coaches will discuss, whether it's Doug or we bring in another defender out of the SNFL that's got a bit extra height. Jared Leanett or Joel Garner's not particularly tall but plays tall. But I think Paddy will just get his chance through hard work and strong performance in the twos.
Tom, do you talk to Ken about how you'd like to structure up defensively then, given the challenges you'll face?
Yeah, that's a discussion that Monty and Ken, and then also myself and a couple of other backs might have. they'd probably gauge our opinion. We're not definitive in what they do, but we can have a say. There's been large periods of time, both this year and in other years, we've played very undersized and it hasn't hurt us. So it's going to be a discussion and they'll make that call this Savo, I think it is.
How do you see Dougal going forward and back, and how does it change the balance of what you guys do as a defensive group?
Yeah, I'd like to see Doug stay forward. I think he's a real enigma up there and he can use his talents. You know, he's run and jump and he's a nice set shot for goal. And then we've got a lot of backs that are in form that can come in down back and help us out. So I prefer to keep him up forward and back him in and help out Charlie down there, and then down back we'll just sort ourselves out.
Does that mean those forward, Paddy's probably cooked, isn't he, if he plays as the extra forward?
Yeah, once again, that's not going to be my decision. I think that's something that the coaches probably weigh up. I haven't thought as in depth as them, but I mean, we played 2 ruckmen at the start of the year, and I think we had Toddy Marshall, you know, and there's a bit of scope there because Doug is quite agile and quite quick and can bring that pressure on the ground.
I was going to say, like, you know, sort of building on that, but with those Charlie back, and you played 3 talls.
Yeah, I think, well, we're coming up against a team that are playing 4 tools, so there's no reason why we can't as well.
You haven't beaten GWS, I think, in 4 years, lost the last 4 to them. What is it about them that you struggle to combat?
Yeah, I think we've really let them get on top of us in terms of their outside run. So if they can feed it out through their quality inside mids, and unfortunately for them, they're missing their captain, who's one of the best at that. And then blokes like Whitfield and Kelly can be really damaging. And I think Whitfield might have had 800 metres gained or something ridiculous last year against us. So those boys that are highly skilled can really hurt us. So if we can stop the ball getting out to them and hopefully curb a bit of their influence, that'll go a long way.
Is this make or break?
Absolutely. If you're sitting at 9th and you know, you look at the teams above, they got reasonable draw, and we're I think equal with 3 or 4 other teams. We've got to control our own destiny by winning each game, and it starts with this Saturday.
Final still a non-negotiable, Tom?
I mean, you've got to be realistic with where we are, but absolutely that's what we're striving for. Like I said, we can only worry about Saturday, get our job done, and then hopefully some results go our way, and we end up playing finals, because that is at the start of the year where we wanted to be.
Like, do you feel that if you have to run the ladder and win your last 5, that you could do that?
I don't see any reason why we can't. Obviously, we haven't got a long streak in our back pocket that we can draw on as evidence, but we have shown that we can play footy that beats the best teams.
How disappointing is it to sort of be 5 rounds out and hoping for other results?
You try not to focus too much on that sort of thing. You just worry about what you can control, and the other stuff will take care of itself. We see, every year something crazy happens. So, yeah, it's all right.
You had another first quarter deficit on the weekend. I think you've only won 6 first quarters for the year. What do you put that down to?
Yeah, it hasn't been a strength of ours. I think on the weekend, our first quarter actually wasn't too bad. We went down our end and couldn't capitalise. We probably had shots from a bit further out, whereas they were getting shots for goal inside sort of 30 or 40. But we played some strong footy. I think that's an area we're working on. But if we can keep giving ourselves those opportunities, we could easily have come in at quarter time equal or ahead on the scoreboard.
In general, though, have you been doing anything differently to try and address that problem, changing your warm-up or your preparation?
Yeah, we've looked into a few little things, and it's a tough one because some teams are quite relaxed and perform well. Some teams are really intense and perform well. So we've kind of gone down the more intense line. We'd like to hit a few bodies and really get the energy up before we start the game. But we'll keep looking for what's the right answer for us.
Sounds like an obvious question, but how important is a good start this week against GWS, a team of their quality?
Just look at what's happened the last few weeks. We had slow start against Richmond, you're chasing tail. Brisbane was the same, and I think the Bulldogs were the same. There was 3 games where the first quarter we came in with a pretty decent deficit, and then it makes it a lot tougher. So there's going to be a big focus for us once again.
Will there be a target from the Giants, do you think, Tom?
Will we be targeting anyone?
Yeah.
Off the top of my head, there's no one that comes to mind. Obviously, you look at Whitfield, he's an informed player, so we want to give him some attention, whether it's in the form of a tag or just showing him the respect he deserves. And the other one's obviously Jeremy Cameron. He's kicked a lot of goals this year. He's playing some serious footy, so that's going to be a big one for Cluz and I to contain.
Do you have someone who could go? Sorry, drop. Do you have someone that could go with Whitfield? Do you think?
Aerobically, it'd have to be one of the biggest challenges in the competition. Obviously, Cam Sutcliffe's come in to tag because he has got that running capacity. Otherwise, it might have to be a group job where we chop and change a little bit.
Is that the same for Cameron? Will that be just you and Klaus?
Yeah, I think we're probably the two that are likely. If he was to play high, we might not go up there and follow him around as much, but when he's close to goals, it'll be Klaus and I. Running-wise, I don't think it's as big a task. I just think just the calibre of player is going to be a challenge.